I'm your host, Benny. You can find me on Instagram at Benny_Margilla, along with my co-host.
G, you can find me on Instagram at Way to Go Smiles.
And we are Quotes by Many Podcasts. We hope everybody having a great day today. We got a special guest today, Nia. Won't you tell us a little bit about yourself and where they can find you at on Instagram?
Hey everybody, my name is Nia Couture Calhoun, and on Instagram I'm at Nia Nia Couture Keturh. That's on everything. That's Instagram. That's Twitter. That's TikTok. I'm an artist. I'm a muralist. And I'm really just a black person trying to make
$1.15. We always start our podcast with your favorite quote, and we want to let you know we appreciate you for taking the time and coming out. So what's your favorite quote?
First of all, thank y'all for having me.
You're welcome.
I really like the setup in here. It's very cute.
Thank you.
My favorite quote. Favorites are hard for me. Period, because it's hard for me to single out one thing. So I have 3 that I was thinking about.
Yeah, go ahead and drop them.
One's a scripture.
Okay.
Be anxious for nothing.
Okay.
It's just about don't worry about things. You know what I mean? And on a divine level, don't worry about things. So I really like that.
Right.
The second one is from Finding Nemo. Just keep swimming.
Definitely.
Similar vibe, you know what I mean? It's just no matter what comes your way, you just gotta keep swimming. I'm also a Pisces, so that hit me on a different level. It's just I'm a fish, just keeping it going.
Definitely.
And then the third is from the prophet that is Pimp C, Chad Butler. He said, "Top-notch hoes get the most, not the lesser," and I feel that on a very spiritual level.
And why you say that?
I'm not trying to call myself a hoe. Shout out to sexual liberation. But it's really I think it's really a quote about karma. Definitely. Right? Because if you're top notch, that means you're the best.
Definitely.
And I like to think about that as me doing my best. So if I'm doing my best, I'm expecting to get the best in return.
Definitely. That's how I feel too. You gotta put your best foot forth and just try to do your best all the time. So that's how you get the best result. And that's why I feel like I shine when I do my best. Mm-hmm. I don't even care how anybody else feel, but when I'm doing good and I put my best foot forth, I feel good.
Exactly.
Regardless about anybody else feel how they feel about it, I feel great about myself and the work I put out to the world.
And that's the real win. You know what I mean? Because I put out some pieces that people are like, "This is amazing." I'm like, that shit is trash. I'll just look at it and be like, I could have done better on there. I was feeling lazy over there. But if I look at something and be like, damn, I did that. I don't care if anybody else likes it because I know, wow,
you did
fire.
It. Yeah.
Exactly.
So how you define yourself as a person and as an artist? How do you find your art in you?
Ooh, that's hard. The definitions. So, as a person, I think I define myself the way that most people do. I see myself in relationship to the people around me. So, I'm my mom and my daddy. I'm their daughter. I'm my siblings' sister. I'm my niece, who's my mini me. I'm her nini. I'm her auntie. But as an artist, I see myself as somebody who is trying to create art that makes people feel seen, especially black people. Especially black people who are from where I'm from. That's an experience that I really love sharing. So I'm just trying to make art that makes people feel happy and seen and loved, really.
Definitely. So let's talk about that, about where you're from. How was it growing up? You from the area? What area are you from?
Yeah, I'm from the DMV, but this is the thing, right? I feel like the DMV is literally everything that the Metro touches.
Definitely.
I feel the same.
It really is. It really is.
And I would love for it to extend out. I want to claim Missy and Pharrell as much as anybody else, but they are from 757, and that is not really DMV, right? Kinda. I went to school in Atlanta, and DMV was the whole DMV, just because niggas needed to gang up. And be right. All right, if you're DMV, we don't care.
And that's how it is at every school,
yes, for real.
DMV, look, oh, you DMV, oh, yeah, all right, bet.
Right.
And when I went to school, that's the main thing I did not do. I was not with nobody DMV. I wanted to be with different people, and I felt like that's when I networked the most. I know people from LA, people from New York, people from the 7-5, people from all over, because I really want to hang with DC. I'm I can go to DC and be around DC people. I really wanted to be around different people and their culture. That's why I tapping into other people's culture.
What was school like for you? Where'd you go?
I went to Virginia State,
Nice.
and it was like, it was only like I was like the only person I knew. I knew one person from high school that went there with me. We really didn't talk in high school, so I wasn't about to be fake and be like, oh, let's be cool now. I was basically by myself. And I mean, I gravitated to the DC people. I talked to them. I introduced myself. I knew them, but like hanging out, buddy, I was more so like meeting New York people or LA people. I gravitated more than them. And but I feel like it was cool. It was cool at college. I felt like it was just like being at home. Like everything I was basically doing the same thing here, but just around different people. And I felt like it was a great learning experience. How about for you?
Yeah, college was fire. I couldn't wait to go just because my parents are both my dad's a pastor and my mom was like an assistant pastor, so everybody in the community knew my parents, they knew my siblings, and so I couldn't get away with anything. Like I don't even remember being at school dances and, just wanted to twerk a little bit, and somebody was like, aren't you Reverend Calhoun's daughter? I was like, damn, niggas can't do nothing. Like wow. So being like kind of hemmed up, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna go to school in Atlanta and nobody's gonna know.
Did that make you shy? Being hemmed up?
I think I'm naturally kind of shy.
Okay.
Because like growing up, I just had a speech impediment, so I couldn't talk really well.
Okay.
So I would just be quiet. That's really, I think, part of the reason why I got into art. Because I'm like, I don't got to talk to anybody to do this. I could just be over here doing my own.
Or you just
thing.
wanted to express yourself.
Yes, you know what I mean, like a way to talk without talking.
Facts.
But yeah, I got down to college, and I was just like, oh, I could like really reinvent myself. And I think I was just like a bigger version of myself. But that job was fun. I definitely gravitated towards. I had a lot of friends from Cali.
All right.
A lot of friends who ended up being from like New York.
And it seemed like you like a Cali, like laid back
vibes.
You know, and this I don't know.
Like
how
no
real
urgency,
this was.
just like you just laid back.
Yo, I'm definitely Cali time. Like I am not grind time ever. But it felt like every DMV friend had their best Cali friend.
Right.
I'm like, oh, you from the DMV? Okay, who's your bestie? And they would be somebody from Cali. I'm like, I understand. Like, it feels like those vibrations go together. So it was cool.
Yeah.
Definitely. So when did you first get into art?
Different stages, right? Like, I always liked art when I was little. You know, people in class would be drawing, like, Goku, like SpongeBob.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, oh, that's good. And you always kind of wanted to be the best one doing it.
I'm telling you.
It was like a little competition. And so it was my first little way to flex. Like, I was in 6th grade. I'm like, I'm going to draw Little Fizz. And I'm going to try to get, like, everything. Like, even his little, like, peach fuzz. And so I brought it to school the next day. And I was showing all my friends. They were like, oh, my gosh, you can draw. And
that was fire. Yeah.
And so it was my first way to be like, okay, I don't, like, I wanted ball to be life. I wanted to be Sanaa Lathan and love at basketball, but I wasn't that good, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm not really great at basketball, not a singer. And so it was this way that I felt like I could express myself and be like special. Like, I'm like, if I try hard and I practice enough at this, like art can be my sport.
Definitely. And how is it important to, communicate, like feel special in your art, like your individuality in the art? And how do people perceive it, receive it when they looking at it? Like, how important is it to let you shine and how you feel in your art?
I think that's the whole, like, wealth of it, right? Because if you get down to a technical level, you could just become, like, a copy machine. Right. Like, oh, I'm just drawing what I see. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And if everybody does that the exact same way, there's no individuality. It's nothing special about it. But when I decide, like, oh, I'm going to make your eyes bigger because this is about how you see the world, so I'm going to emphasize your eyes, or
definitely
I'm going to put this red stroke over here because it's about the pain that you've been through.
Right.
When I start putting, like, my heart and my concepts into the art, that's what makes it, like, literally it gives it value.
Definitely. And that's the thing about you. What I love about your art was that thug cry thing. I really love that about your art. And it really, like, touched me. I was like, dang, it's okay to cry. And what was your whole concept behind that theme? Like, what made you want to go out and promote that?
I had this year where I just was like super emotional, and I think I am always emotional, but it was always something that was kind of like very low, like no one knew. But I was just like, yo, I'm a soft boy. Let me just stop acting like I'm super hard. It is what it is. I'm just a softie.
Right.
And it made me sad because I thought about really all these black men who I grew up with who really were never given permission to be emotional.
Definitely.
let alone cry. Like crying was like, how dare you? You know what I mean? Like
Right.
literally, like I'm gonna give you something to cry about was what people would say, you know? And so I was like, we need to rebrand crying. Like it's a thug tier. Like
Definitely.
it's still hard. Like it's still a manly thing to
do. Right.
But you should feel like you have permission to do it.
Definitely.
And so I just drew like a few paintings of men crying. And I'm like, I really, really like this, but I don't know. I was kind of worried. I didn't know how like black men were going to respond to it.
Why? How did they respond to it? Like, was you shocked about how they respond to it?
They really liked it. Like I showed it and I was at the show, but there was like hundreds of artists at the show and thousands of people. So people didn't really know that this was my work. And men would come over and they would bring their friends over. They'd be like, black men, like, oh, you need to see this. This is important. I'd be like, wow. And we're in this phase where like people are going to therapy and that's really beautiful. So a lot of people are like, yo, yeah, that's the kind of stuff I'll be talking about with my therapist. I'm like, that's beautiful. Like, because I think we should raise a generation of black men who feel like they can express themselves. And it's like, it's no shame in having a little tear come out of your eye if that's what you're feeling, you know? So,
right. Definitely. So what inspires you when creating your art?
Black people.
Black people. I love black people.
You're really the best.
I love it. And what you love about black people and why you feel like our culture need to get pushed out?
One, I don't think Lizzo said this, and I was like, dang, that was profound. She was like, black American culture is the only thing that once it becomes mainstream, they try to take it away from its origin.
Definitely.
Like, yo, that's crazy. But it's true, like, we are the originators of rock and roll. And then when rock and roll got big, it was just like, oh, no, that was Elvis.
Right.
Like, what? Like, how y'all
Definitely.
do that? Or jazz, you know what I mean?
Facts.
Country music.
Oh, man, jazz.
Yes.
Like, really taking away these, like,
Miles Davis.
come on. I'm like, this is us.
This is us all the way.
And so I think it's important to give credit where credit is due and give people their flowers where they can still smell them. You know what I mean?
Right,
so,
for sure.
To me, it's just like I paint black people to kind of like honor our cultural contributions, but to remind us that like these little things that we honor and love are important. And like we only have a handful of years on this earth.
Yeah.
So like I told y'all the other day, I was at Iverson. There's one reason everybody goes to Iverson Mall. It's the cookies.
For the cookies.
And I was like, yo, I'm going to paint the cookie store.
Yep.
And it was actually dope because it was like this girl, and I think it was like her son. Her son was like maybe 2. And they were just sitting there buying cookies. I was like, hey, can I take a picture of y'all? Can I paint y'all? Yeah. And I'm like, oh man, I'm so excited. It's going to be so fire. You know what I mean? But like honoring those moments that make us feel, be it go-go music or a carry out, you know what I mean? Like these are the moments that make up our lives.
What's your favorite car? What's your top 3 carryouts in the city? What's your favorite?
Controversial. So I like Jerry's, and I know that's not a popular answer, but I do like Jerry's. I like the
What you like about Jerry's?
it's by the 9:30 Club, so I would just go after shows.
Okay.
And 9:30, a lot of my friends work security, so they would get us in for free. So we would always feel lit and be like, all right, let's just get a little Jerry's after.
And then what you get from there? Like when you go there, you get the wings, the mumbo sauce.
Wings, mumbo sauce, strictly anything that's on a neon poster written by hand. I don't want any of the Chinese food that's on the menu, no disrespect. But I only want like the 3-piece with fries. Sometimes fried rice, you know, if I'm feeling spicy with the mumbo sauce.
That's steak and cheese egg roll.
Steak and cheese egg roll, absolutely. And a half and half.
And a half and hey, that half and half.
Half and half.
We gotta. I mean, that's what we doing too. We want to brand that half and half.
Period.
Like that's a. I think that's DC all the way.
Absolutely.
Like when I say half and half, they be like, "Oh, Olive Palmer." I'm like, no, half and half. But,
Yeah, nah. They the same thing. Nah,
you know Olive Palmer. Like they try to script that from us.
When
I want to know. Let me know.
When I went to Atlanta and asked for a half and half, I was like, what is this? Like I drank it. I was like, this is not a half and half. They were just like, a half and half is half sweet tea, half unsweet. I was like, what is that?
They always try to hit me with that. I was like, yo, that's not no half and half. If I wanted sweet, I would have got sweet. If I wanted unsweet, I would have got unsweet.
Oh
Why
my
would
gosh,
I get
it's
want
weird.
sweet tea with lemonade.
Hey,
Right.
that thing hit different right there.
It's delicious, and it's so sweet that you could low key add water to it and be like, oh yeah, this. extended.
Right, it don't matter that the ice melt or nothing.
Yes.
It don't matter. I'm telling you, that's definitely it. And why you feel like you gotta in your artwork so much of the DC culture? Why do you want to push that culture so much? Like people don't understand how unique the culture is here. Like they try to stray away from it.
It's really beautiful.
I'm telling
Not to
you.
cut you off, I'm sorry, but it's really, and I told y'all this. Like I'm not from DC, which is important because
Right.
you're not from DC and niggas think you acting like you from DC. It's
It's
a
a problem.
So to make it clear, I'm not from DC. I am from 30 minutes down the road, 30 minutes down 50. I am not from DC, but I think because I always looked at the city as an outsider, right? So
Right.
growing up, like visiting my family over the summertime and being like, wow, it's really beautiful here. Or
Definitely.
being a high school kid and finally be able to like take the metro into the city and being like, oh wow, like there's just museums you could just go in for free and look at
Definitely.
art. Like that's crazy. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like there's this whole music genre that originates from here and people all over the world
Right.
love
Listen,
it.
yes.
That's crazy. Like but beyond that, like DC is full of fly niggas. Like Kanye got his original style, like
From
the style
DC.
he
Yeah.
was known for from DC.
DC,
Like
for sure.
visiting his father in the summertime.
Definitely.
He was like, yeah, the way
He
they
said it all
dressed in
the time.
Georgetown
Yeah.
was so fly, and I took that shit back to Chicago. I'm like, wait, so the man, I mean, and we're praying for Kanye, right? Because we all know he going through some things, but the man who basically made like hip hop fashion
Is like
got his fashion from
DC.
DC. Like
I'm telling you,
And
we
I think-
definitely unique.
even the
Definitely
way,
unique.
period. I mean, we
No
got New
matter-
Balances and Nike boots on right now.
Yeah.
Hey,
For sure. For
And
sure,
even,
for
like,
sure.
I think a lot of people were like, oh yeah, DC had a unique style, and a lot of people, you know, because we were the first really rocking like Helly Hansen
Yes,
and
all
North
that.
Face and definitely Nike boots, you know what I mean? But even now, like the most popular shoe is a dad shoe.
New
That's
Balances.
New Balances.
Yeah.
That's DC.
See, that's DC all the
Exactly.
way. People be trying to say
Exactly.
it's Philly and all
I
that.
be like, what are you talking about?
Oh, gosh, man.
They always try to say it's Philly, and I'm like, nah, that's DC
That's
all
DC.
the way.
It's just things you must have. Like,
Right.
It's just them shoes and a few
uniform.
things.
It's just a
It's uniform.
It's a
Yes.
uniform.
Like
It's definitely. And what do you feel like one of your favorite pieces that you created that speak out to DC?
When I did, and it was a version I did in 2014 that became a meme. Like it became like, you know, a
For real?
deep fried meme that like it starts getting fuzzy.
Yeah.
I did like a overnight scenario meme in like 2014 that got deep fried.
Dang.
And it was cool though, because I'm like, that means it's for the community. That means the streets love,
Love it. Right. That's and that's and it feel good when the
It
streets love it.
does, yes.
That's how it feel when the streets love it.
Crazy. It
You
feels
felt-
so. That was the first thing I did that kind of went viral. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like before going viral was a thing. Like I put this out, and it was just
You put it out on what platform?
Twitter. I
Twitter.
think
Okay.
it was a black background and like with white. I did it on Photoshop with white doodles. I just did like 9 a.m. was like a car. You know what I
Right.
mean? And then like 3 a.m. was IHOP, like a thing of pancakes, and people were like, yo, because I think people like it because once again DC is territorial, and it was like a test.
Right.
Like you either knew what it was or you didn't. And if you didn't know where it was, you weren't from here.
Right.
And so I think people really liked it because it was just like a test. And so I was like, oh, I really want to redo that, but I want to like try it with watercolor this time.
Right.
So
And why watercolor this time?
I love watercolor. I think it's just fire. But last time there was no color around it. So I was like, oh, I want it to be more colorful this time.
Right.
And so I was just like, okay, I'm going to put it on my Instagram as like a slide. And the first slide is going to be like, okay, you're not from DC if you don't know what this is, right? And so you would have to slide through. Like it would be a picture. The first picture was...
I seen that. That joint was fire too.
It was so fun.
Fire. It's fire.
But it was like so many people... Because you know, on Instagram, they show you your stats.
Definitely.
yeah.
And it was like... and I deleted my Instagram, and once I did that, they deleted my stats. So I can't tell you off the top, but it was like over 1,000 people had put it in their stories or sent it to somebody. Which is crazy. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Seeing that reaction.
that reaction, and people. Once again, it's just the streets really loving
Loved it.
something.
Right.
And so when that happens, you're like, oh, I'm doing this for a reason. And
Facts.
so my girl Trap Bob, another great painter from the area, she was doing this like show where you submitted pieces, and she chose what pieces could be in like different bus stops around U Street.
Right.
I was like,
I seen that. I seen you was on that.
Yo, it was a big blessing. Shout out to Tabita.
Yeah, shout out to Tamika. Huh?
Yo, for Tabita, that's my girl. I was like, okay, I call her Bobby. I was like, Bobby, put some pieces in, you know. I'm not saying pick me, but I'm saying I'm putting in something special.
Right.
And so she chose the overnight scenario job, and they emailed me like, hey, we chose your piece to be on one of the bus stops. I was so hyped. So I was going over there with my girl, and we were just blasting overnight scenario because obviously if we about to go see it, we're gonna be blasting it. Yes. And there was this like a car full of just aunties. Right. Like everybody in the car was 45 plus at least. And we're blasting the song, and they drive next to us. We're on U Street, and they're like, they roll down the window. We're like, oh damn, maybe we too
loud.
Right. Too loud. They rolled down the window and said, y'all better turn that the fuck up. I was like, yo. That was lit. But it's like those moments where it's just like, wow, like community is really all that matters.
Hey, that's when I be loving the community right there. Yeah, like I love when stuff like that happen. You know what I mean? Like you can make somebody smile way more, way harder, and make somebody's day for real. You know what I mean? That's the special intake.
Period.
That's why we want to build this about it's a community. Yeah. We're not a fashion brand. It's not none of that stuff. We really want to build this a community. There's so much things. We just really want to touch people with positive affirmation.
To the point we're not even like, it's not quotes by me, quotes by you,
quotes by
many people.
So
you know what I mean?
And that's what this is. Many people have put quotes on this
wall. You know
wall.
what I mean? It's ain't. We got hundreds of quotes.
All right.
Already.
Hundreds.
Yeah, and it's not even like the half. Like we got boxes of
quotes. Yeah.
From the stores,
because everybody live by that. Everybody got a quote that they live by.
Everybody wake up and it's just something you do.
Right.
Not for nothing. You know what y'all should start doing is putting y'all know what like wheat pasting is?
No, what's that? And that's what we trying to do. We want to get this more artsy. That's what we want to do with
it. Because I love this.
The visual. We want to make the visual more appealing.
Laminate them.
You know, this is merch right here. You just get somebody you literally scan some of these in and you put them on a t-shirt, you know what I mean? And then like, that's the quote. And then that's the brand. It's just like, cause everybody knows what like a Post-it note looks like, you know what I mean?
Facts.
Yeah. And y'all could be really like, some people put stickers out in the street. Y'all could get Post-it notes, you know what I mean?
Put them out in the streets.
Or even like, merch it, like make your own Post-it note packs. Cause you know, I think like, Vista Print does it and like, y'all could get your own Post-it note packs. And that could be some merch for y'all too. You know what I mean? Like this is fire.
Yeah, definitely. We glad you feel it. We glad you feeling it.
I see the vision.
And everybody that come in here, they see the vision. Like they see how like we want a positive like impact. Yeah. People really do feel it. Like everybody that come in, they like, yo, that shit dope. That shit fire. Like it's just all about quotes. Yeah. Like you got your quotes you live by.
Yeah, I just believe like from our first store, how somebody come in the store and leave out was two different things. Like you can come in the store super mad, but while you wait on whatever you waiting on, you're reading. Like it was a store full of like different people quotes and all. So once you reading, it'll change your mind and like you forget why you was even mad.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So something that you read might make you laugh, might make you know what I mean? Dang, that's tight or this and that. And they leave out happy, you know what I mean? So it was different seeing people come in mad. Man, I had a bad day. What the fuck? Whoop, whoop, whoop. And they leave out there happy.
Right. They might better quote them like, man, keep going. And that might have just that's all I needed to hear.
Yeah.
That's all I needed to see. That's all I needed to hear was that.
That was just like one of those things. I'm like, hell yeah, I fuck with this.
Yeah.
I fuck
me too.
With this.
I love quotes, man.
Fuck with this.
And that's why we want to keep this going. That's why we glad you add value to it. And what would you tell a young artist that's going and that's just starting, that want to keep going but that's shy, that don't know how to show their art? You know, it's so many different ways. You know, ways you could show it, but they just shy. They don't know how people going to accept it.
Just do it. You know what I mean? And if it's coming from your heart, like if you're being authentic with it, right? People will feel it, and you'll find your people. You know, it's just that belief. I think so many times people will think themselves out of an idea, myself included. Like I'll think about, like I'm like, yo, I wanna paint Y'all, they just opened up an America's Best Wings liquor store down the block from me, and I'm like,
Man.
it's a liquor store and it's an America's Best Wings. Like, who thought of that? What kind of nigga tree is this? You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, I'm gonna paint that because that's fire. But sometimes I'll sit there and I'll think about it so long that when it comes time for me to actually paint it, one, maybe I'm not into the idea as much anymore, or somebody else has done it. Me and my big brother, my biological big brother, because I do have a lot of big brothers. Yesterday we were talking about how like we truly believe that there are ideas that are supposed to be in this world, and if you don't do it, God will give that idea to somebody else.
Yeah. I was like when I first grabbed my camera, they was knocking Berry Farms down, like just starting. I used to tell him all the time, like, man, shit, if I took my camera and started taking pictures before they knock it down, and then after a few years later when they build it up, take more pictures. That should be worth something.
Absolutely. And I know a photographer who did it. You know what I mean? And like she's out here, and it's like she has a show y'all should go to.
Oh, that's dope. When?
Her name is Dee Dwyer. She's from Southeast. I follow her on Instagram. I don't even know her that well, but I'll make sure I'll give y'all her thing. She should be on here for real.
Nah, for sure.
But yeah, like it's amazing. But you're right. Like you had the idea.
See, and then somebody, like you just said, did it. You know what I mean? So it be those things like vibes and feelings and energies and you know what I mean, frequencies and like some people move on those same vibrations, waves, and so they could see what you see and be like, man, but move on it. Like, man, fuck that. I'm gonna get straight to it today. I'm gonna get straight to it tonight. Like my man always say, don't miss the bus.
Don't miss the.
That's a good quote.
Hey, that's a good quote right there.
My man, he always tell me like, man, don't miss the bus. He said, cause when they come, you better get on that motherfucker. Cause you never know when the bus gonna come back.
Right.
Shit can shut down right there instantly. It's no more buses.
Definitely.
I can't even tell you the amount of times where I was just like, man, if I would have just stuck with that, right?
Definitely.
And this goes out to those young artists too. It's just like, y'all ever seen the meme? It's like two people and they're digging for gold in a gold mine, and one person gives up and he was like one hit away, and the other person is way back here, but you can tell he ain't stopping no time soon. I'm like, dang, you gave up and you were right there.
And that's the one thing that you say you like Dre podcast. He said people you get 10 no's, but that 11th could have been a yes.
Exactly.
And you just gave up right before you got right there. You got to just keep going.
Full transparency, I'm 31 and I love being 31. Like,
yes.
But if I had given up in my 20s because I'm like, oh, it didn't happen by the time I was 30. So much happened to me the year I turned 30. Like that's when I did my first huge mural. That's when I got like my first.
What was your first huge mural?
I did a collaboration mural on 9th Street.
Was that the one? Was that the White House one?
The Capitol one.
That Capitol one. That the rainbow fire.
One. It's huge.
That joint was fire. I like that one. A lot.
I like it. Let me not be negative.
That joint was fire.
I appreciate you. But like if I had stopped, I wouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? Like So it's really persistent.
And like how often do they change them out? Like
that one's gonna be there until they knock that building down.
It's still here.
It's still there.
Dang, where can they see that at?
That's 9th and N. That's
9th
right up from the convention center.
I'm gonna pull up on that.
Yeah,
cause that joint fire.
It's big. It's right there by the I forget, they changed it. It used to be a Sunco, but it's a different. Maybe it's still a Sunco gas station on 9th Street.
Yeah, that joint definitely fire. When I seen that thing, I was like, yo, she putting that work in.
I just want to do, and I was telling somebody this the other day. It's just DC is a city that they're trying to like erase us from. It feels like us, right? And I told you I'm not even from there, but like my dad's from there, my family's from there. That's what every. But you've been
living here, so you.
Yeah, I mean, like I definitely feel like I'm a part of it, but I'm never gonna claim like a native, right?
Definitely.
But I'm like, we gotta put blackness all over. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
That's why